Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first in a series of StreamAid challenges. StreamAid is a growing collection of concerned business owners who are having crucial conversations about the environment. Our goal is to explore and implement a series of small steps that we can all take that at scale can make a big difference. One of the climate challenges that we are all very aware of and we'll all be facing is the heating up of the planet. So in keeping with this dilemma, we're heating up the conversation today with our Hot Wings challenge.
Wow.
And as an extra bonus, it's not 3,
It's
but it's 4. Courageous.
It's not just advertising, it's everything.
4. An extra, buy one, get one free. 4 courageous volunteers who will be discussing climate challenges, solutions, and other topics within the backdrop of increasing heat measured on the Scovilles scale. Lovely audience, we are streaming on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Twitter. And we would love you to get involved. On any of those platforms in the chat functionality, just say hello, cheer on our worthy volunteers, get involved in the conversation, let us know your thoughts, your opinions, and your ideas. So let's get this show on the road. I'll try not to sip my very cool icy beer too often, gents. But what we'll do to start off with, let's let the audience know who we are. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to take it in turns, introduce yourselves. If you've prepared a video or some form of yummy formal introduction, then feel free to play that. But I'd like you to do that in keeping with the Hot Wings Challenge. So before you introduce yourselves, have a nibble on your first wing, vegan wing, meat wing, or other hot item. Introduce yourself, have another nibble, tell us what it is you do, and then get ready after another nibble to answer the first challenging question. David, Mr. David Bell, we'll start with you, my friend. So dig deep, dip into whatever it is you're going to nibble on. Cover it in your low-grade sauce. Let us know how that is. Give us a bit of a flavour, a saucy review. And then
so I've gone for a low-grade. There's a story, and I'm going to have to start with a story because all good things start with a story. Now, for this challenge, I decided to reach out and order my hot sauces last week. Now, originally, they were coming from the USA. Keith said to me, David, these are the ones that you need, and I ordered those. Well, cut long story short, they never made their way here to the UK. So I thought, no problems, I'll order them online. So I found a boutique chili manufacturer that makes sauces and jellies and all wonderful stuff. And I put my order in last week. And it hasn't turned up. There is my excuse. I have no sauces. Well, I do. And I know yeah. So you're not believing me, and I've got proof. Because I knew this was going to happen. So I've uploaded, purposely for this, my image. Here we go. Look, check the date out up the top. I've blanked out, by the way, who the company is, just because I don't want to offend them, because they were quite happy for us to talk about their sauces and all sorts. But just to prove that it is running behind time, and hopefully they will be here probably in about a week or so's time for the next challenge. So anyway, I dashed out earlier, went to Tesco's. Other supermarkets do exist, and I've got myself a medium piri one. Okay, it's a Nando's sauce. I picked up the hot version as well for scaling up. And then I found this little one on the shelf, Caroline Reaper, which I've got here, which I don't know if we can get this. If I zoom right in up here, look at the chilies on that. Look, hotter than hot.
If that's Carolina Reaper, that's going to be pretty.
So we'll give that. That's obviously my last one of the 3.
That's the killer.
You're going to have a lot of chili sauce to get through this summer.
I've got a hell of a lot of it, but I did make a little video, Nick. Do you mind if I just kind of play my kind of short intro video of me prepping and getting everything ready for the season?
As long as you can start the process, mate, and get some chili sauce down your neck.
I am playing this. It's a minute long. I'll mix up some of this, the medium one, and get it ready to gnaw on.
Get it going, mate. Turn the heat up.
Here we go. Here's the video.
Well, here we are. We're getting ready for the Hot Wings Challenge, and I've got a big problem. My sauces never turned up. I ordered them, and unfortunately, they have not arrived. They are stuck with the courier, DPD, somewhere around the UK. However, I've popped down to Tesco's and I managed to get some substitutes. Well, I think anyway. Let's have a look what I managed to get hold of. So here we go. I've got a tray of goodies. I've got a couple of Nando sauce. I've got a medium to start things off, a hot. And then I found this Carolina Reaper, which is their hotter than hot sauce. I picked up some chilies as well. So we've got some really hot chilies, and then we've got some medium ones. I managed to find some cheese and chili Pringles, and I thought I'd get some dark chocolate, because on my original order I did order some chocolates. I bought myself some dark chocolate, cut that up with some chopped chilies. It's going to be gorgeous. Here's the chicken all ready to go in the oven, so the chicken wings are looking good, and the oven is on and getting warm. So I'm going to pop those in a minute, and then I'm going to see you live on the show. Be interesting. See you soon.
And here it is. Okay, here's one I've just prepped and rolled in the. It wasn't the hot one, in the medium sauce. Okay, in the medium Nando's. Okay, you can see.
Oh, you've used a lot. Nice. Go on,
pretty well covered. Here we go.
Right. So, let us know, who are you, mate? Introduce yourself.
Thanks for that. So I'm David Bell. Well, like Nick, we get involved. We run a chat show on a weekly basis. Bit of a plug here. If you enjoy this show, then do tune in on a Thursday morning, 8 till 9 o'clock, where Nick and I do business interviews. We don't eat chicken. Nick has eaten baked beans and Weetabix for breakfast one morning. But I also run a business and tech consulting, working with business owners, helping them to scale their business, implement tech, to automate, systemize their processes, and make them lots of money. There you go. I'm going to keep munching.
Right, keep munching. Let's do while you're munching. Let's do another introduction. All right, let's go to big fan, big part of StreamAid. Let's go to Keith, Mr. Keith Smith.
Hello,
how are you, my friend. You can introduce yourself if you can set the scene. Let us know kind of where you're coming from with this Hot Wings Challenge, and then start heating up the conversation.
You want me to leave my name and everything until last, so that, because obviously it says it just there. That's me. Right. So, I'm very, very proud to be part of this part of the StreamAid team. We have been ruminating, cogitating, and mastering a lot of different techniques, and learning a lot about the crisis that our planet is facing. And we all thought that it'd be great to try and get something together, and instead of being too terribly serious about the whole thing, because it's a very depressing subject, we thought we'd try and inject some levity into it. So I'm a big fan of the Hot Wings challenge on YouTube. Sean Evans is a hero of mine, and so I just before Christmas I ordered a box of their sauces that they use. Just the trinity of here we go. Look, there we go. So we've got, in order of heat, we've got the classic starter. Then I went straight to number 9 out of 10. All right, which is a pucker butt green chili sauce, and then the hot last dab, triple X last dab, which is an absolute killer. And the box comes with stickers. They send you stickers, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with those? They just put them on your bum or something when so anyway, I'm not quite sure why they came with stickers, but anyway, the fine people at Heatonist are my sponsor today, and so shout out to them. I have them in bowls lined up in front of me, And because I decided to give up eating meat last Christmas, these are vegetarian wings. So
Nice.
it reminds me of like the chicken nuggets you got as a kid. Yeah. So anyway, let me just right. Well, before I do that, I was going to. David had a video, so I haven't got a video, but I have got a piece of poetry. While what I'll do is I'll put my chicken wing to marinade while I read my poetry. How's that? Does that sound good?
Sounds doable, my friend. Yeah.
Okay.
And before you start, the comments already coming in. Thank you very much, Laura. The Reaper is brutal, she says. Get ready for that, David. And you're quite impatient. Richard says, try the Triple X, Keith. Come on.
Oh, yes. Simo. Are we good?
Yes.
Right. This is simply titled Chicken Wing. Chicken wing, oh chicken wing, you tender rendered juicy thing. A spice so nice, so hot, or not. You make my mouth, my lips go zing, chicken wing, oh chicken wing. My first, my last, my everything. Grilled or fried or boiled in oil, served with fries or ranch or, I don't know, some buffalo. Eat in, to go, sun or snow, an all-weather, all-feather food that pairs with or shares with a beer so cold, so bold and fizzy, it makes my chicken head go dizzy. Chicken wing, you're my Sharona, the original munchie for the original stoner. You always look best on the original owner. Are you snack or are you main? Served with sauce and pain. Again and again, your owner is toast. Your owner is carrion, and so I chose to go vegetarian.
Well done, Mr. Smith. Wow.
I didn't know it was going to be so good so early. I'm delighted.
That's it. He's blown out now. The rest of it's all downhill.
So good dippage, my friend Keith. So who are you?
Oh, yeah. Right. It's actually that's not too bad. That is like a that's like a table hot sauce. That's pretty good. I like that. So anyway, that's me. Part of the Stream Aid team. When I'm not doing that, I have a business called The Advertist, which helps advertising agencies find clients. So big shout out. I run that with my wife Donna, who is watching, I'm sure, at somewhere on one of our TVs. And then I also am the host of the Fuel podcast, which is possibly the most successful podcast on the planet right now. And we interview people from the world of advertising, and we've had some great celebrities on. It's all good fun. We try and have a laugh and reminisce about the advertising world. So that's me. Tune in, and we'll see. I hope everybody's enjoying it. That's the main thing. But we want everybody to have some fun.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Keith. Our next fabulous volunteer is Greg. Greg, welcome to the Hot Wings Challenge, my friend. If you wouldn't mind digging deep and dipping your first sauce option, you
absolutely
then introduce yourself.
So on the sauce front, I was rather remiss, so I've sort of cheated slightly. I'm not sure I've got as hot ones as what you guys have, but we've got some Nando's hot and we've got some red hot wings. So hopefully if I just pour enough on or perhaps drink a little at the same time, it might sort of catch up.
Extra points for a shot of chili sauce, no doubt.
That would be different, having shots of chili sauce. That'd be great. So, that's still quite spicy then. So my name is Greg Gormley. I'm CEO and co-founder of Scoot Eco Group. And really we're here to try and create a mission which is a part education, because it's just helping people to understand, what is a carbon footprint? Why do I incur one? Why is it important to understand what it is? And actually, how do I try and remove it? And how do I reduce it? And it's that combination of things from a personal perspective, and even in the business life as well, in the corporate world, understanding, what you're responsible for, giving you actions to enable you to remove and to reduce over time as well. So Scoot's very much about that. It's a huge challenge that we've got, as the IPCC highlights, and we'll go into that in more detail. But really excited to be here, and thanks for the invite.
Woo!
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Greg. Very kind. And you're right. We've got some big challenges ahead, which we can't tackle alone. It requires us all to get involved. Thank you very much. You sip that cold beer. Okay, our next fabulous volunteer. Please welcome onto the Hot Wing stage, Mr. Andrew Kennedy.
Thank you very much, and hello, everybody.
Hello, Andrew. So what have you got? What sauces have you got for us?
Yeah, indeed. Well, I love chilies. I grow chilies, so I'm very much into my chilies. We started this off with a conversation with Keith some time ago, and he said the slowest level would be this one, but I'd have that on my cornflakes, so that's not really appropriate. So I've got various other ones, which I don't know what they're going to be like. Green jalapeno, hot habanero, and red hot. However, everybody knows this one, Dave's Insanity. That's a good medium hot. And then there's this one, the Black Mamba, which comes in a very small bottle for a very good reason. I think you have to use it with a cocktail stick, don't you, Keith? I think that would work. Then there's hot sauce. It's got various government warnings and avoiding parts of your body with it. And if you do, wash thoroughly. And it's made with chocolate habanero, supposedly, but it's up there on the. So that's the end point. So I'm going to start with the green.
Excellent. Give it a good coating, Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to pour that. I'm going to make sure everyone can see. I'm going to pour that over my nice chicken wing.
That's nice.
And give it a go. More. Really quite nice.
Yes, this is it. This is the stuff. And because of your courage, Andrew, please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
My name's Andrew Kennedy. It's Keith. Sorry, I'm not mirrored my screen. That side. My name's Andrew Kennedy. I run a company called Movie Storm. We've been making 3D animated filmmaking tools for about 15, 20 years. And more recently, we've been releasing a virtual previs tool for creative productions called First Stage that allows teams to get together remotely and collaborate in pre-production to make sure that their production is as efficient as possible. And that's it. So anyone who's planning on making some adverts or films or whatever like that, maybe you could come over to the Movie Storm website and see what it's all about. Because it's another key thing about Movie Storm historically is we try to make things very accessible, so easy to use and very affordable. So it should help with your budgets.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Andrew. Sorting out some of the challenges in our virtual world. So let's expand into the next question, and more importantly, the next hot sauce. I'm going to bring Greg onto the stage. Greg, you're our first lovely volunteer for sauce number 2, and cow down on that. And then, if you wouldn't mind answering this question, the same question to all of our lovely guests, so you can prepare yourselves. So, Scoot, for example, your business, how at Scoot do you think you can make an impact to this huge global challenge that we're all facing? And what can the rest of us learn from what you're able to do at Scoot? How's the sauce?
Warming up.
It's getting hotter, and I'm not sure the tequila shot idea was a good one, but we might give it a go later on, but we'll see. The reality behind it all is, whilst we're having fun here, we do actually have a worldwide problem, which is probably the biggest problem that we have on the planet today, ignoring things like Ukraine and COVID, etc. However, climate change is something that back in 2015, 197 countries at the Paris Climate Change Agreement all signed a pact, and they all agreed that they'd stick and make sure that the planet didn't warm up beyond 1.5 degrees. At 1.5 degrees, we lose 14% of our species. So it's very important, and in actual fact, it's a high point, and it's higher than it has been for over 100 years. The acceleration over the past 30 years is more than the last 250. So it is really about us doing something today. And the reality is, the first point is to learn about what your footprint is. You know, why do you have a footprint? What creates a footprint? We all know that driving in cars isn't great, and you know, flying isn't great, but what other things actually incur a footprint? And it's simple things. You know, you could be going out for dinner. That actually increases your carbon footprint. And it's just enabling you to take responsibility for your carbon and say, yeah, I will. I'll actually do something about it. I'll change my lifestyle. I'm not saying never fly again, because that's just ridiculous. But I'm saying when you do go and fly, or when you do go out for dinner, or when you do stay in a hotel, take ownership for that carbon and actually look to offset it and remove it. You know, plant some trees, do something in the moment. And that's what Scoot's all about, creating actions and abilities in the moment that can remove it, identify, and then ultimately avoid.
Excellent answer. Very succinct. On the back of some heating up sources. So identify, offset, and ideally avoid where possible. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Greg. I'm going to bring David Bell back onto the stage. Get your sources ready, Mr. Bell.
Can I just say, Nick?
Yes, mate.
I had a chew on one of these chilies. I thought I'd be brave. I had a bit of a chew on it while Andrew was talking. It was like, oh, that's warming up. I've got some raw chilies here, and I'm going to chop them up in a little while and put them on some chocolate for pudding, by the way.
They look like bird's eye chilies.
They are, yeah. They say on them extra hot, so
yeah,
they are. Yeah, look, bird's eye chilies. You're dead right. Look at that. Look.
See,
you know your chilies, Keith.
A pretty ferocious start to the ever-rising temperature.
Yeah, I can feel the little tingle on my tongue.
He's amping it, Andrew. He's amping it up.
This got real pretty quick, didn't it?
So we're going for the hot sauce now. This is my medium of the three. Just
slather that on, mate. Take a good nibble, and tell us what from a business perspective, what are your thoughts? What are your ideas? And what should we be learning?
Well, I'm just saucing up.
Yeah, sauce it up, man.
And actually, before I go on, I did notice that sauce called Black Mamba.
Mm.
It had like warnings on it: don't spread on your body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, was that an Ann Summers produce?
It's got the. Yeah.
We are. We're not quite after the water. Not quite after the watershed, but hey.
I think that's a different Black Mamba.
I was getting confused in my old age. I'm just spreading anyway. So yeah. Well, what am I doing is a question, I suppose.
Take a good bite first, mate. You can't get away from this. Let us know that.
You're doing that off camera.
Share.
I think it's for real. I know he's wearing lipstick now.
I think you might have got some. Share the heat, mate. What's that like? Is that tasty?
It's hotter than the last one, but it's still not doing it for me.
It's no Black Mamba.
It's no Black Mamba. Yeah. So anyway, what am I doing? Well, quite a lot of people know that I've upgraded, gone electric in the old vehicle front. I don't do thousands of business miles a year. Pre-COVID, I'd probably do 15,000 a year, something like that. Every little counts. So gone electric, charging up from home. And that's obviously my tiny little contribution. I've always recycled and done all the other things kind of to help the planet. Recycled glass, all my business waste. Obviously, we generate some domestic general waste as well. My wife has just replanted all the garden. That's got to be a good thing, you know, plants and trees and stuff like that. It's all these little things that are helping. And I'll be honest, since I did the Scoot form, it's kind of going to have to be offsetting some trees, putting some trees in the ground and subscribing to that. And I think it was £13 a month that it's going to cost me to offset my carbon footprint, which I think is quite a fair deal.
Good work, mate. Small steps, big difference. That's the way forward. You know, we're not massive businesses, so we're businesses that care and are ready to take whatever steps we can and need to. Excellent work. Keep munching on that. I'm going to bring Andrew onto the stage, and an illustration of the sorts of things that Andrew and team are doing. We've got some video footage as well. Yeah. So, Andrew, welcome back to the Hot Wings Challenge stage. David, if you could line up the video for us. Andrew, what have you got for us? Second source. What are you going for?
Well, I've got 5 grades to get through. Is that going to work? or do I have to just jump one?
You have to start putting them all on at once.
Or should I
Yeah,
go higher first?
Just
Go-
ramp it up.
Go to the next to hottest.
Yeah,
Next-
ramp it up.
I'm going to go to
Yeah.
red hot.
Yeah.
Red hot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, the question is.
So the question is, you and your business, Andrew. So Movie Storm. What are you doing that is kind of helping tackle these climate challenges that we've got? And we've got some illustrations as well that David's going to tune in for it. So what are you doing? What are you doing that's helping?
That's a lot better. Very delicious. Well, obviously, as a company, we actually make a tool that hopefully could make a bit of a difference through the various productions, film industry, TV, anywhere really where teams are often globally located and their productions involve them all getting together. Because what happens generally in productions, I understand it, is that you in pre-production you don't. A lot of people don't do it. I think it's only something like 12% of productions nowadays are actually do any pre-visualization or early stuff. And so in the end, they go on set with a load more kit than they need, which they will have to transport there. More people go on set than they tend to need. They spend longer on set and maybe more hotel costs and all that sort of stuff. But if they can in pre-vis actually virtually look at that, go on set and spend as long as they want exploring stuff and ideas and risks and all that sort of stuff. By the time they get to actually go on set together, they can reduce that. A more key as a tool, it's aimed at allowing people to work from their own houses productively, as opposed to just. I mean, the bad thing about, one good thing about the pandemic could be said that people learn to work remotely very well. But Zoom and all that sort of stuff, I find frustrating because it's a bit like this. Actually, you just end up chatting. But ideally, you could do something productively, actually do your own job whilst actually meeting together remotely. And so that's the key thing behind what First Stage is all about. So yeah, obviously we make a tool that actually aims to actually help this sort of area. I could say it's a bit of a coincidence because it was there to make previs more welcome to it, easier for everybody to use. Around the house, I did your scooter challenge, and I think I'm a 0.5 ton CO2 because it's fairly minimal. We work remotely all the time. We Zoom demo to all of our clients to get them on board. We go on set with them to show them how to use the tool. There's no going to actually visit them to help train them up if they need training. We live in Cambridge, so it's flat. Everybody cycles, yes, and so generally, you wonder where the areas are that I could actually make a difference. But actually, what with the rising cost of fuel. I've turned the heating right off, much to the annoyance of my wife, who tries to dry the clothes when it's raining. She does a lot. And I turn off the lights and every single plug before I go to bed because I'm trying to reduce the amount of cost it's going to be. And as a result, in the impact, I guess, it helps with reducing my carbon footprint. So I think those are the key things you do. Actually, helping the planet helps yourself is the key thing. You know, as you said don't go out to eat. Well, it costs. I thought we didn't go out to eat. It costs a fortune. It's nice to do it, but cycle round the corner. Maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah.
Excellent. And you're even producing your own central heating with hot chili sauces, which makes.
I am indeed. I've got one little question about planting a tree. So if you live in a flat or something like that, you obviously can't plant trees. Just as you said before, planting the garden, is that the equivalent? I mean, do I every year I plant a vegetable plant or I plant flowers out or whatever it is, where they've all died away? Is that effectively a contribution?
In essence, you can have any contribution to types of planting. You have to remember, though, that anything removed that you have planted in the past will re-release the CO2 that's captured. So this is why when you cut down forests, it actually releases a load of carbon as well. So, that you have to be very conscious. But what we enable people to do is a double whammy. And we work with Eden Reforestation, who are probably one of the largest tree planters in the world. They plant 30 million trees every month. But the wonderful way they do it is they take the poorest communities throughout the world in Haiti, Madagascar, Kenya, Brazil, and they give them infrastructure to these communities that have nothing. They're probably overfarmed and overfished. and they're sat there not knowing what to do. So they're suddenly given the infrastructure to reforest their land, to look after it, and they're actually paid to then secure it as well in perpetuity. So actually, you're not only helping plant trees to reach carbon net zero, you're also helping your fellow man on the other side of the world who really, truly have nothing. And that, for me, I think, is a double whammy, which we're really excited to partner with. So, we've got some wonderful videos and content, and we love it.
So
30 million.
Use the Scoop to work out what your impact is, and as I say, maybe subscribe to get planting going to cover that cost.
Exactly that. So, we try and make it as simple as possible, as cheap as possible, whilst at the same time helping these people on the other side of the world.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Andrew. Next onto the stage is Mr. Keith Smith. Keith, while you're warming up your cauldron of sauce, David's got a video he's going to play. You're going to see sort of Andrew's technology in action. Is that right, David?
I do. Anyone want a crisp, by the way? I've got chili and cheese. I went everything chili tonight, but we do have 2 videos, actually. So we've got a small trailer that shows the first stage storyboard, which we'll show. And maybe then Andrew can just give us a bit of a story around that.
Pre-visualization in action, right?
Yeah, and then we'll play the full advert. But let's see the, as you say, the visualization in action. Here we go.
You are now the number 2 threat to the world.
I refuse to be number two.
We have to help the planet.
Oh, please, cheer
For my son.
So
Okay.
That's a storyboard as such. That's where we're using the tool to pose characters and set the shots up. We obviously build the stage virtually inside the software. So the key thing there is what we find a lot is that the director kind of prefer just replacing a storyboard and having a live storyboard, something you can start preparing it after the script and then go all the way. And that's a Dr. Evil advert was at the Super Bowl this year. And it was a really interesting project because it was a global team. The director was in London, the DOP was in Italy, and the production was being done in New York with all the actors over in America. So we ended up on this sort of like 2-phase cycle every day for the week running up to production, where they would go to sleep. We would work on whatever we'd been told to do the day before. They'd wake up in the morning, jump in a cab, open their laptop, we'd have sent them a link, a Zoom link, then they would basically see the feed from my VR video, my VR view inside First Stage, and I'd tour them around all the changes that were made. They would change some camera positions, change some set design. Then they would get to the stage, meet with a production designer. He would start to implement those stuff and talk about it. And towards the end of their day, or halfway through their day, end of our day, we'd have another Zoom meeting with a production designer as well and take on board some more changes. And this sort of rinse repeat happened all the time. So it worked very well. It worked kind of better in terms of a sort of iterative process actually being remote for that particular phase.
Amazing.
Sounds superb. David, if you wouldn't mind, show us a bit of the finished product. Super Bowl advertising. Superb. Let's have a look.
Let's watch the whole thing. It's 90 seconds. I believe that's right, isn't it, Andrew?
Oh, it might be, yeah. Actually, it might not be.
Yeah, that's what it tells me here. So I'm hoping it is, because that's what I'm telling the world. It's 90 seconds. Let's see it in its glory, the finished produce. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, our takeover of General Motors is complete.
Dr. Evil, we can now use GM's Ultium platform to power our whole operation.
Now we can reduce tailpipe emissions.
I'm sorry, am I no longer Dr. Evil? I'm Dr. Good now? I didn't get the meme.
Climate change is arguably the #1 threat to the world now.
Dr. Evil, you are now the number 2 threat to the world.
I refuse to be number two.
We have to help the planet.
Oh, please, cheer
For my son.
your son. I shall name him Baby Me.
No, his name is Kyle.
You must help save the world first.
Then you can take over that world. Okay, Frau, how about you let me do the business, all right? Hold on, I've got it. I will help save the world first, then take over the world.
She literally just said that.
Scott, you just don't get it, do you?
What? What don't I get?
You don't get it.
Oh, we're right back.
And you're never gonna get it.
You can't draw me into these little...
You don't get it.
You act like a child.
Here it is. You don't
I
get it.
am an adult. You can't push my buttons anymore.
We'll reduce our carbon footprint.
Whatever. Okay, let's go. We're going all electric.
Everybody in!
Not you, Scott. One day you're gonna run the company, baby me.
Great work, Andrew. Great work.
Hooray!
Very good. Love it.
And quick message to GM. The invoice is in the mail.
And we've just
Or
been
they can come on
copyrighted.
future challenge and have some sauce and hot wings. Great. Well, you do hear a lot about the technology solutions to our current issues, and it's great to see see one in action. Fantastic. So, Mr. Keith Smith, you're on the stage next for your grade 9 of 10 hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
Dip.
Look,
is this the butt one? Pucker butt.
Pucker butt.
Pucker butt.
Pucker butt.
It's a
ladies and gents, if you can get that into your conversations over tea tonight, pucker butt, do so. As you're dipping your vegan nugget,
it fell in.
Oh, good. More support for Mr. Richard Simmons. You boys are very brave, especially now. Go for it.
Do I do it now, Nick?
Go on, mate. Get it down your neck. Good work, my friend. Good work. How's that one landing?
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, that has some heat. I mean, it's not that bad. It's I can still talk.
At the moment.
So, what as a business, and as a homeowner, what are you doing? What can we learn from some of your lessons?
Well, again, like Andrew, we did the challenge. Oh, sorry, hang on, I have to bring on my secret weapon, a lassie. down. So yeah, we did the scoot challenge, and it was pretty similar, half a ton. So our business has always kind of run remotely for the last 14 years. So we were kind of all over this sort of working from home business, and we have a sort of remotely distributed team of people. So it wasn't that difficult for us to, when the pandemic hit, for us to sort of switch gears. But what we have done, oh God,
you're starting to sweat.
What's worse is my mouth is filling up now. But anyway, so we what we did do was when the pandemic struck, we wanted to do podcasting because we wanted to try and make it easier for people to find out more information about what was going on in the world of advertising. I have to kind of say things really quickly before the next wave comes in. So anyway, we set up this podcast studio, and then because we didn't want to go spend time, money, and energy, and increase our carbon footprint by flying everywhere or going on vacation, we bought an old motorhome, and we did that up last year. Because then there were no slots available for anywhere to take a motorhome, because I'm based in the US, if anybody isn't aware. There was nowhere you could actually take a motorhome. So we found we bought a little piece of land, a little parcel, about just over half an acre of land in the woods. So we now own a bunch of trees. We actually own a whole bunch of trees now. So we are working to keep that land natural, keep the habitat and everything else like that. The other thing that I do that is very, very important is that, on an email, when you see that thing, if you do not need to print this, don't. Well, I don't. Which I think is a very important thing to do. Now, apart from that, we don't travel very much. And looking forward, we're like, as Andrew suggested as well, we grow a lot of our own food. I actually grow a pizza garden, which is just basically tomatoes, depending on what side of the Atlantic you're on. some garlic and some onions and some herbs and spices, and then that's it basically. So we've got a whole pizza, and I've learned how to make pizzas as well, to make the dough.
Superb stuff, mate. So you've got a pizza garden going on. You bought, in American speak, a small parcel of land. In UK speak, half an acre. That's a pretty big chunk of planet Earth in the UK. And as we've heard from the other ones, we're turning lights off, we're traveling less, we're mindful about what we're doing, which is great. It's a great place to start. So, ladies and gents, hold on to your hats because this stuff is about to get even more heated. So we're going to crank open the hottest sauces that you've got. Feel free to mix the black Mamba with the hot sauce. Get level 10. Oh, Keith is ready.
How many of them you made, Keith?
This next stage could be quite tricky. So, Mr. David Bell, we're going to start with you while Keith repairs himself. So, the hottest level, my friend, you mix that up, get it going. Feel free to chase it down with some of those chili appetizers that you seem to have purchased. And so this question is going out to all of you, but I don't want you to answer until you've consumed serious heat. Well, let's have a look at this. And as Laura said, the Reaper is brutal, and this is the Carolina Reaper. David, I'm looking forward to your review. So the question to you all, while you marinade your sauces and chomp down on something hot, luxuries. All right. So if we're really smart and we're proactive and we take small steps, all of us at scale, it may not get to the point where we've got to start losing some of our luxuries. However, at some point, we may be asked to stop some of the things that we've grown accustomed to. Stop some of the things that we're really enjoying. Okay. So, for example, international travel or sport. I know at least two of our lovely guests are big Formula One fans. Would you be able to give up Formula One if it was asked of you? Would you give that up? Would you give up certain points of technology? Would you start using public transport instead of jumping in a, let's say, petrol or diesel car? So the question is, okay, would you be prepared to give up some of the things you hold dear? What is it? Could you give it up? Okay. And right, while you're chomping down on this,
well, let's do it.
So would you be prepared to give stuff up? And if you could walk away from your home, everyone's safe, right? Everyone's safe at home, your pets, your family, everyone's safe. But you've got to save one thing from your home, okay? And it can't be technology. What's that one thing that you can't live without or you need to save? So while you're champing down, David, thank you very much. We've got a bit of a warning here, right? Chuck some more on. And Daniel says, bathe the wings.
Bathe. That's a great description.
Bathe those. So that's a lesson to us all. Bathe the wings before you chomp down. How you doing, mate?
It's slowly getting warmer.
It is.
Now, obviously, I don't know how many Scovilles this one is, but this is what you can buy in Tesco's. It's not going to be the hottest of the hot. It's actually quite edible. It's definitely got a bit of a kick on it. Hotter than hot. Well, the last one was warm. This is kind of hot, but it's not blowing my head off yet. I'll let you know if it gets worse. Warming up. But to answer your question, Nick, could I give up stuff? Well, yeah, absolutely. I could if I wanted to and needed to is the big thing. Formula One, yeah, I'm a passionate Formula One fan. And already we've gone from, big noisy engines to little small engines that still make a little bit of noise, but it's still not the same. But for them go into fully electric, which they're saying Formula One will become fully electric, even though there is a Formula E category. So I think it's going to happen. I think they're going to be forced to. Be a shame. But when it comes to,
I don't think. Sorry, David. I don't think it's so much about the engines with Formula One. I mean, it's the same with all racing. What you've got, it's like NASCAR over here as well. It's the environmental impact of shipping of teams and cars and God knows what to remote or very luxurious locations, and then sending them flying around a track for 3 days, and then putting them all back together again and sending them. It's just the sheer carbon foot. It's like horses as well, same thing. You know, you've got all the trainers, the team, and everything else. I think most forms of racing are. I mean, maybe Greg can correct me on this. I don't know. But I would say that most forms of racing, apart from maybe tortoise racing or something, is probably...
Is that a thing?
Well, but I mean, they probably have a huge impact on, on the environment, don't they?
Yeah, it's when you ship loads of equipment around. And actually, this goes back to Andrew's point about being on location for filming. It's exactly the same thing. The amount of lorries and equipment being moved all the time in anything like that is massive.
Exactly.
Now, there is some positive things on the way. Aviation fuel that's becoming renewable, being basically created from secondhand oil, cooking oil, etc., is actually on the way. So there is a huge push by all of the airways to actually try and enable this, which will help and have a knock-on impact on Formula One, on all the horse racing, etc., to the point that I don't believe we should have to give that up. I think we can actually do something sensible about it. So for me, it's really important to get there quickly. I mean, the best way to think of flying as well is if you take a standard European car. So a standard European car today is roughly 127 grams per kilometre. So every kilometre you drive, it releases 127 grams. If you go on a plane in economy, it's 101 grams per kilometre. So you do a long haul flight that's 8,000 kilometres. That's like driving 8,000 kilometres in your car in one go. And that's why it's important to understand things like that. And if you can avoid flying, personally, now and again, I think that's a good thing to look at, or own it and offset.
I think there are some advantages to Formula One in the fact that they do develop engine technology and other car-based design technologies that actually impact beneficially. So I've seen the Dave's hot sauce. That's pretty good. Oh, wow, that's gone down the wrong side. So that really impacts positively impacts. So maybe I'm not sure about horses. What they actually provide.
Andrew, you're absolutely right in Formula One, because Formula One actually is the leading way of safety as well. So things like all the anti-locking brakes and all of that was all developed through Formula One originally. So it actually has a sort of hidden impact and benefit at the same time.
Yeah, but there's no reason why they couldn't hold them all a bit more locally. I mean, they're trying to open up the market, which is why it's all around the world.
Yeah.
But maybe there should be local ones, and then maybe a little final at the end when they. They're not bringing everyone together all of the time.
I'm not sure you could have road racing round Bognor.
No.
That's the interesting.
It sounds like it would be a great idea, though. What a crowd puller for Bognor Regis. So, David, a bit of support for you from the lovely Northeast Teflon Bell. Look at that. She sent that before she saw you dabbing your tongue with some sort of tissue. What a show! What a show!
It's the after effect. I get it. I get why they call it the Reaper, because it comes up and gets you later on. It's not there and then, is it? I can honestly feel it making my tongue sort of dance. Not bad.
Good work, my friend. So next onto the stage, Mr. Greg Gormley. Thank you very much for your insights. So your hottest sauce, if you wouldn't mind.
I've done some mixing.
What have you got for it?
Oh, he's done some mixing.
Oh, I've done a bit of mixing. So I felt as I was cheating because I haven't got as hot as what you guys are. So I've literally got my wife to bring everything. So I've got chili oil. I've got crushed chilies. I've got sriracha, hot. So I've just mixed it all together in a bowl. I'm just about to dip
Oh
dip
my
it. So,
God.
so we'll
If
see.
your
what
head doesn't
happens,
blow off
but-
from heat, you're going to blow off tomorrow, I tell you.
That's the way I
And,
used to drink when I
the
was
turn
a
of
kid.
phrase is bathe them. Okay, bathe them.
Oh, bathe.
That's it. So the question, while you're chowing down on that, is if push comes to shove, are you prepared to give up some of your luxuries and outside of loved ones and your technology, is there something you'd have to rescue from your home if it was the last thing?
Yeah.
What?
I'm Greg.
Yeah. What's the score, Greg? Is that a tasty mix?
To be honest, I'm a massive believer in not possessions because, so there's nothing in my home that I want. If it all blew up tomorrow, it doesn't matter.
Eddie with a grand piano in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, it's a fake one, so it's fine. But no, it's. I think no. For me, it's. Do you know what? One of the most important things I think about this, and this is what Scoot is trying to do, is a little bit about the education piece as well, because you start learning things on this journey all the way along, and there's some really weird and wonderful facts out there. So, for example, everyone goes, "Don't print." You think, "Oh, that's really good." So printing is roughly 18 grams of CO2 when you print something out. Do you know if you keep an email on file for a year, that equates to 10 grams of CO2. So all those people that sat there with 30,000 emails in their inbox for a year, you times that 30,000 by 10 grams, and that is your CO2 footprint of hosting. So it's all these small little bits that actually make a massive piece that you start to learn about it and go, wow, I'm going to change the ways I do that. I'm not going to have all that. I'm going to do a hard drive and take that off and do it separately, because it's just little impacts like that actually make a huge difference.
That's incredible.
It's shocking when you actually stop and think. It's like, oh God, that's scary. And then there's things like renewable hosting. So I just want to point out, like the BBC, for example, they have one of the biggest, most visited websites in the UK, in fact, in the world. I've got a sneaky suspicion that their hosting isn't renewable, and it really should be, because there is a website out there that you can check everyone's hosting to see if they're using a renewable hoster. Ooh. And it's things like that that really need pointing out and highlighting. So that's sort of a few sort of pointers and lessons. In terms of what could I do without, I drive an electric car. You have to walk the walk, which to be honest has been a joy and a pleasure. So I really do enjoy it. And for me, what could I do without? I love Formula One as well. I'm a big fan. So I wouldn't like to see that disappear, although I think they are looking at how they can make it more environmentally friendly. And, taking those actions of where you find you can't avoid. And I'm not saying to people, never fly again, because that's just a load of nonsense. But I'm saying when you do fly, firstly, learn about what that footprint is. And it's all very good for BA to say, would you like to donate to offset CO2? They don't put it into context. They just give you a figure. They say, do you want to donate £10, £15 or £25? And you just look at it and go, you're probably going to pocket that. Now, the reality is they probably don't. But also, they don't give it any context. So, you know what? You're flying 8,000 kilometers. Well, actually, that has a big footprint. So why don't you know and be told that that's a few tons of CO2 and what that few tons of CO2 would look like, and actually give you the ability in the moment to say, well, look, this is how you can remove it by planting trees or taking a carbon credit that's legitimate. And actually, it'll cost you this amount. And so for me, I think it's really important being in context, in the moment, and the education piece.
Yeah, that's what you said. Education, that seems to be, I mean, we didn't realise that emails were costing us 18 grams of CO2 per saved one over a year, or whatever it was. So, yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, we have to put on labels, apart from do not touch your genitals with it, all that sort of stuff. We normally have to say what the food value is and what things might make you sick.
That's a great point, Andrew.
So why, when I log on, doesn't it tell me you've got 17 gigabytes or 170 gigabytes in Google Drive at the moment? By the way, this is costing the planet this amount. I mean, you should have a little meter up. They should law. Everybody should know what their current impact is, because education is what makes a difference. You know, guilt's good.
It is, and for me, it's been an interesting journey because you start learning more and more about it, and it sort of you become this sort of knowledge database of just data, and it's like, oh my word,
Do people
I
still
can really bore a dinner party? Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Greg. And good bathing in your concoction of hot sauces. Next onto the stage, I think we'll have Andrew. Andrew, join us up here, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let us know what it is you're mixing up, your cocktail.
We have to be right on the Black Mamba now, don't we?
Black Mamba, here we go.
Bring it on. I want to see his eyes wince.
You'll see that.
The last one was bad enough.
You overcooked them wings.
Come on out. You know you want to.
He's caramelized them. Look at them. They're nice looking wings.
He's flicking that around.
Look at the state of that colour.
Oh, now it's coming out. Oh.
Oh!
Right.
There we go.
Where's your bucket?
Chug it.
That's it. So yeah, chow down on that tasty morsel there.
It's chocolate because it's a habanero.
Yeah, and while that settles, same question for you, Andrew. Are you prepared to give up luxuries?
Well, I gave up going abroad a lot when I got a dog. And so my holidays are all in the UK. It's a very trendy place to go now. Unfortunately, the prices have got skyrocketed as a result of people not being able to go abroad. But they come back down again. But foreign travel I could give up to a great extent. The UK's got such a diverse range of habitat environments that you can really...
Is that landing?
Really
Black Mamba?
Beautiful. Yeah. That's definitely above Dave's insanity. You can go anywhere from the mountains in Scotland and the Lake District and all the hills, and then you've got beautiful beaches, you've got great cities, all that sort of stuff. There's plenty of places to enjoy with going to less foreign holidays. It got to the point where it seemed like everyone in England was just default going to Spain as a starting point, and then further afield. Appreciate what's in your doorstep. The other thing, which is cool, is give up baths, because showers. I'd give up baths quite happily. I don't necessarily. I like it soak in a bath, but showers could be great. And I believe, judging by how long it takes to fill my bath, I can get about 12 showers for one bath. So I think that's those are the areas I'd definitely give up quite happily. In fact, I already am. In terms of other stuff. I haven't got an electric car yet, but I drive all my cars to the knackers yard. I did 250,000 miles before I eventually gave it to my mechanic so he could use the bits on my new car, which is exactly of the same type. Because that way it still got pulled apart after I'd let go of it, which was, I think that's fairly good. I think a lot of people should make their cars last a long time, because as much as we talk about the impact of driving them around, I think the impact of making them is even worse.
And of scrapping them as well.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to get an electric, but I do like to travel larger distances when I'm going on my UK holidays. Obviously, I'm not going to the airport and jumping in a plane. I'm traveling around the UK, so I would need something that allow me to get there. Greg, you'll probably tell me that your electric cars got you up to North Scotland in the past by stopping off getting charged on the way.
No, your ethos is absolutely 100% right. Use your car that you have today for as much as possible, because making an electric vehicle has a big impact. And actually, the reality is, if we all wanted to switch to an electric car tomorrow, it would actually take over 20 years, because the lithium iodide batteries, there's not enough supply in the world. China represents 80% of the ownership of those commodities. And hence, we can't all switch to electric. It's not actually possible. There isn't enough out there. So the reality is, utilize what you have for as long as possible. And I love your fact that you bought the same vehicle and you can use the old parts. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So, that's more commendable. And just to put into context our driving in the UK, because we are obsessed with it, we drive over 220 billion miles every year just in cars. Now, to put that into context, every mile you drive in a normal in a normal car, I think the chili's kicking will generate 300 grams of CO2 approximately, depending upon your vehicle. Now, 300 grams is enough to fill a football. So if you think roughly every mile you're driving will fill a football, every day in the UK, we are producing 567 million footballs a day, because that's how much we drive. And that is just cars. So, we do have this massive obsession with cars. So
Arsenal couldn't put one of them in a net.
Can I also just say, though, Greg, you drive an electric car, and you're a petrol head by the sounds of it as well, from life in Formula One.
Yeah.
My word, isn't it great fun driving an electric car? I don't know what one you've got, and we're not gonna play top trumps or anything like that.
No.
But don't they just put your foot down and
just go?
You smoke anything else on the road. It's like, see ya. One wanna be ya. It's fantastic. And I'm a petrol head at heart.
Now, the other important thing, though, to understand and realise, and again, it's about education. So people say, oh, use public transport, use a train. Okay. So do you know what a train incurs in terms of CO2? So roughly a train will be about 40 grams of CO2 per kilometre. Now, if you have a car with 4 to 5 people in it, it'll actually equate to the same as a train. So if you actually utilise your car and properly carpool with friends and family, etc., you are as efficient as a train. And don't forget, trains actually aren't always full as well. So the other thing about it is those stats were built on 2/3 of a train being full. So when it's empty, it's actually higher. And the same for buses. So basically any kind of travel you undertake, unless you're on a bike, unless you're walking, still has a footprint. So you can't turn around and just go, oh, don't worry, I always take public transport, because that's still not that efficient.
Fantastic.
So is there a way you can get the train companies to lower their prices to get more people to use it? Because half the time the reason people don't is financial.
That's a good point, Andrew. I was booking on trainline.com to go to Manchester the other day. So London to Manchester. And it said on trainline.com, this will incur 10.6 kilograms of CO2. Brilliant. So it's informing me what it is. Why can't it give me something to buy in the moment to actually remove it? Why not say, right, plant 2 trees with Scoot, and that will offset 11 kilograms of CO2 in 12 months. And actually those trees will last for 30 years.
I get that, Greg.
I'll be writing to the Trainline CEO saying, look, I want to integrate with you, give people an in-the-moment purchase. It'll cost them £2. And then they can actually pay £100 for the ticket, £2 to remove it. Job's good.
Yeah,
I get all of that. But we're in the highest possible point of cost of living. Certainly in the UK and the US are not far behind.
Yeah.
And, you're getting on a train that's pretty expensive anyway. If you're going prime time, peak hours, it's not cheap. And then we're going to offset, and that's going to cost me or whoever another £3 or £4 or £5. And all of a sudden, this
could only represent about 1% of what you're spending.
Okay, so maybe it's round it up by 50p pounds.
Yeah, like exactly that. Yeah. You can plant a tree for 50p.
And why shouldn't the train companies be already doing this and saying every time you get, we will dino? We were talking about Brewdog pre-show, and you might have taken feedback on this, but Brewdog are planting a tree for every beer you drink. I have planted millions of trees. I feel really good about the amount of trees that I've planted.
Yeah, I think for me, it's about a combined effort. So I believe, and one of our tools is working with restaurants and understanding that going out for a dinner, a 3-course meal represents roughly about 8 kilograms of CO2. Depending upon what you order. So if you're vegetarian or vegan, it won't be anything like that footprint. If you're having a steak, it'll probably be a little bit more. But on average, roughly it's 8 kilograms. Now we're turning around saying to a restaurant, right, why don't you enable the diner to plant a tree and you actually match it? So whatever they plant, you match. So if they turn around and go, right, I'm going to plant 2 trees for £1, the restaurant plants 2 trees. So that's 4 trees planted. That'll roughly remove 20 kilograms of CO2 in 1 year, which would be enough for 3 to 4 diners. And for me, it's about just that collaborating piece and working together to firstly understand it and then to remove it. So, it's very much about those pieces.
And it is doable as well. That's the thing. It's doable. It's a mindset.
Excellent conversations. Gents, we have one more to take the hot wings challenge. I'm mindful of time, of course. Mr. David Bell, can you keep an eye on the comments coming in, because they're coming in and I just can't seem to access them. That's technology for you. So Keith, onto the stage. If you wouldn't mind bathing your vegan hot wing in the hottest sauce.
No, just nip it, drop it in it.
2 million Scoville, is that correct?
Ready? Here it goes.
Oh yes.
Oh, that looks really appetizing on camera, doesn't it? That.
Katsu curry.
It
Just
looks
think,
great,
just
mate.
believe
It
it's a
looks great.
katsu curry.
So
Yeah.
I tell you, it's going to make them taste a lot nicer, though. That's all I can
that's
say.
the stuff. Let's heat this conversation up. So yeah, chow down on that, my friend.
Get ready to dial 999.
I tell you what,
911 in there, US. Hold on, 911.
Yeah.
Medic.
I tell you what I've really enjoyed. While each of us has been taking their turns, the rest of you have been chowing down with more sauce.
I will.
I think that's the thing about the scuba. It only goes so high, doesn't it? Once you've gone there, you can keep going there without getting any
You know
worse.
what? I actually think the last dab is not as strong as the middle one.
Yet.
Yeah.
I think the middle one's stronger. Definitely. Well, hang on. Yeah, I might have to go again. All right. Sorry, Nick. What was the question?
So yeah, are you prepared to give up luxuries? It sounds like there's massive education to be had out there that is going to open up a lot of kind of doors for us to take positive action, which is brilliant. But if push comes to shove, are you prepared to give up some of the dear things in your world?
Well, I'm a fan of what Andrew does, and I very much follow his line of things. I mean, I admit I have a big ass car, right? But it's 22 years old now, and I'm doing everything I can to keep it going, because we did actually at the weekend look. We thought about replacing it, and we thought, I wonder if we could go and buy a new car, and no cars available. So we're forced into this decision of having to go and of keeping the old chariot going, and I'm quite happy with that. In terms of my wife and I, we live very, very frugally. We economize wherever we can, largely down to Donna, not me, but we make our own laundry soap. We don't, as Andrew said, we don't bathe. we only take showers, and of course, this is the other thing. If you live in a motorhome, which we that's our holiday is to have a motorhome, you are actually acutely aware of how much electricity, how much water you're using, where it's all going. Whether to and I mean, I've perfected the art of the Navy shower, which is literally like 2 minutes and I'm done. And so oh God, that's kicking in. Oh God, I needed. Oh, right, and so we are. God, it puts you right off your thought train, doesn't it?
You're starting to glow.
And so yeah, we practice it. We try and do it. And I mean, here's another thing. And I mean, I'm sure Greg will probably back me up on this as well. Is that if you're curious about how to save money in your everyday life, it's all on YouTube. Just bloody look it up. There are people who do this, who practice the art of frugal living. And you don't have to do everything that they do, but just do one thing that they do. Practice the art of doing, like make, do, and mend, like they used to have during the war. Instead of throwing clothes away, repurpose them or fix them, and stuff. So I think it's very much a mindset that we've developed, is this disposable sort of economy that we so love. But it was only 2 generations ago that people didn't have all those things that we had, and they had to make. And I mean, this whole thing about where I live in America, where we sort of love to spend our time, is in pioneer country, when people they didn't have access to things like that. They had to make stuff up themselves. They had to build it themselves. They had to their local resources, and they had to make all their own clothes and bathe once a week, and everybody bathed together, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it sounds ludicrous, but that is very much where we are all heading again now, I think, in order to achieve those things that we want to achieve.
Great points, Keith. And well, well handled with the hot sauce. So that kind of brings us to the end, gents. All I can do is say thank you very much for allowing the conversation to heat up physically and metaphorically, sharing your knowledge, your experience.
David's got
Is it a chili chocolate finish, mate?
Well, no, I ordered the hottest chili chocolate you could buy, and obviously the delivery never turned up. So I've got some dark cocoa chocolate.
Do it.
And I've got a chili.
Do it.
I can blend the two together. But before I do, just very quickly, a couple of comments, Nick, that you wouldn't have seen. I think in the UK, the current public transport, especially up in the north, is not efficient enough to entice people to using it. I think you're absolutely right, Daniel.
Yeah.
Too expensive.
Someone please tell Sadiq Khan. Yes, absolutely. And love your earrings. Thank you very much. Just a few of the comments that have come into the chat there. So yeah, anyway, back to are we going to end? Is this the ending?
Yeah, so ladies and gents, it's the end of the Hot Wings challenge. There'll be other challenges coming. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted. If you'd like to get involved, come and find us at StreamAid. All of the links you can see at the bottom. Just go to the website, streamaidlive.com, and just join the conversations that we're having. They're crucial conversations. We all need to have them. And the conversations this evening, I've just showed you that there's small steps that we can all take that are going to make a massive difference. So it's just no brainer. Let's just start taking those steps and making the difference that we all know that we need to make. So David, finish us off with a bit of chocolate and a bit of chili.
I'm not sure that's the best. I'm not sure that's going to stay down.
Ladies and gents, let's... Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Come on, mate.
Can I just say thank you for hosting, Nick? You've done a great job.
Yes,
you're very welcome,
you,
Andrew. Thank you very
a
much.
pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew Kennedy, Mr. Greg Gormley, Mr. Keith Smith, and the first time ever, the speechless Mr. David Bell. Join us next time. We'll be doing another challenge of some form and having some very crucial conversations. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye, everyone.
Cheerio.